Time for my favorite movies of 2018. One of the hardest lists to put together. My God. It really is. It's difficult, guys. It really is. Because I could have, there's a lot of honorable mentions. I didn't make a list of those, so don't think that I'm going to do that. But just to narrow it down, this list it fluctuated. It really did. It fluctuated. And I was just trying to determine, did I like this movie enough? Do I want to see it over and over and over again? Am I determining it with that? Am I determining it with quality? How it made me feel? It's just a lot of things. A lot of things. So I think I got a pretty diverse list here of different genres and everything like that. And you don't have to agree with me, guys. And some of you are probably going to be maybe upset with me. Who knows? But this is just my list, my opinion. Here we go. Number 10! This movie choked me up. This movie is a feat for Mr. Bradley Cooper. And I hope he at least wins Best Director. Because, my God, what a fucking... This movie, man, I tell you what. A Star is Born, Lady Gaga, too, showing her chops, and you just fall in love with her. You really do. I've always had a thing for Lady Gaga, but I was never a fan of the theatrics. Loved her voice. She had a great voice, great talent, but I just hated all the costume and everything like that. Here, it's just her. It's just her. And that's what I love about this movie, probably the most, is it's so bare bones with her. And then just the story is done well. I haven't seen the previous ones. Never watched them, never was into them, but this... it's not like there's a couple times where it's but the end, I was choked up. I was with people who were crying their eyes out. It really attacks you, hits your feels. Number 9, Bohemian Rhapsody. Now this movie choked up, but felt just inspired and when I drove away from the theater, I just put on some Queen and I was singing at the top of my lungs, This movie, it was a little divisive. A lot of people were it was so bare bones, and I could see that. A lot of people are saying this movie's kind of like a VH1 movie or something, like a made for TV, and it kind of does fall like that, but, Rami, whatever the hell, Rami Malek's, portrayal of Freddie Mercury is so fantastic. And like I said, that ending scene, the concert scene, that just was what really did it for me. And I still want to see a movie with Sacha Baron Cohen as playing Freddie Mercury, but something that's not like this. This was all about the music. Number 8! Upgrade. This movie came out of nowhere, it seemed. It really did. This movie just came out of nowhere. Lee Wannell, who, he's written movies for James Wan. He helped write the first Saw movie. He's just been there. He was also in the first Saw movie, which is great. Him and Wan are big time fans. And this movie was just it was a low budget. Not really a known actor, not known at all, really. Everybody's just hey, that looks like Tom Hardy. It was just something unique, took place in the future, sci-fi, just a lot of things. And of course, a crazy twist and everything like that. And it just... I hope there's not a sequel. I just don't. I know people want a sequel, but I'm no, leave it here. It ended just right. Number 7! That fish man. Aquaman, number 7. That's right. This movie is just it's visual porn. Big time visual porn. The special effects in this movie are some of the best to date. Some of the best you've ever seen. Of course people will rip it apart, but they truly are. It's just, to pull this off is unbelievable. It's fucking Aquaman. Jason Momoa, of course, was just, I was kind of worried, can he lead this movie? And he totally did. Patrick Wilson was just perfect villain, essentially, he's right up there with Zod when it comes to CBM villains, and it's just I only saw it once. I want to see it again on a big huge IMAX screen, but who knows if that's going to happen. But and the way that it's just blowing up the box office, there's literally just came in like a tsunami, and yes, just the fucking ocean puns. Number 6, this movie, Hereditary. This movie, talk about just walking out with just a sick feeling in your stomach. And knowing that it's divisive, because my friend, she did not like it, and I was This is why I love going to the movies. Even the director, I forgot his name, says it's not a horror movie. And it's really not. It's about family. It really is about family. It's about mental health. It's about all kinds of things. And it just so happens that it has those elements to it. And they're so perfectly done. The tension and everything. And then just a little twist. And then that shocking scene in the middle of it where where the whole theater went, like literally just went, oh my God. And that just shows you that this movie is really fucking good. Number 5, Avengers Infinity War. Yep. I'm sorry, but there's just a lot here to love, you know? I mean, to have everything kind of come together, and I know there's some parts in there that are cheesy and cringy and stuff like that, but to have everything come together to put, you know, a pretty good balance on all the characters and then have all the story elements, and then to end up not happy, which usually all MCU movies end happy, to have it where half the group gets wiped out and everybody in the movie, I mean, opening night and seeing and hearing everybody's reaction, just, you know, listening, and just me and my buddy looking at each other going, what the fuck is going on? You just didn't expect it, you know? And this was like the first MCU movie that ended on such a downer. There wasn't like this big elaborate like end credits, you know, where they show like statues and it's, you know, going around and showing all the actors. I mean, it ends with just a basic black and white in the music with the violin and stuff like that when everything was happening. And when you watch all that stuff with Peter and Tony and then even it just was like, what the shit is going on here? Number 4, the title that everybody thought the next Avengers movie was going to be, and I was like, no, please don't, because it's going to take away from this movie. Annihilation. This movie doesn't get talked about enough this year. It hasn't. I think when it came out, a lot of people were blown away by it. I certainly was. I've watched it probably 3 times now. And it's just, you kind of just sit there and go, wow, you start thinking about, well, maybe they meant this for this part. There's so much to think about in this movie. It's acted perfectly by the entire cast. I mean, Natalie Portman is the driving force. I mean, Oscar Isaac, you gotta love him. I mean, the supporting cast did well too. The special effects and the originality of this movie, man. Not wait to see what Garland's next movie is all about, because that guy, I mean, when it came to Ex Machina, and then of course apparently he wrote and then just took the fucking director's wheel for Dread, and I wish they would give him a sequel. This guy just he knows how to tell story through visual, and then just, I don't know. It's layered up. He makes you think, and that's what this movie does. And every time I've watched it, which has only been like 3 times, and I'm definitely going to be watching it again and again and again, just like I have Ex Machina. He makes you think. It's just brilliant storytelling, sci-fi. You can't ask for anything more. There's an intense scene with the pig hog thing. I mean, that scream that it gets. I mean, I still think about that, and it still just gives me goosebumps on my taint. Number 3. Into the Spideyverse. That's right. This one beat out the other CBMs. That's for damn sure. This movie, I still haven't seen it again, but this movie was just, it was a feat. It really was. Because it's like, okay, Sony, of course, 2 attempts to do a Spider-Man franchise, and it, for the most part, was doing well, but then the sequels, they kind of just lost their shit. Let's try to reboot it again, and then, try to expand it, just didn't work. Now you got partially Spidey over the MCU, so what do you do over here? Well, let's make an animated Spideyverse and see what happens. And everybody's loving it. This movie should not be slept on, and that's what sucks, is people are sleeping on it, because it's not doing as well as some of the other movies that it's not. But it sucks that that's the case, because it's just something that's just, the animation is just something different that you haven't seen, okay? We're seeing a different kind of Spider-Man. We're seeing all different kinds of Spider-Man through it, but of course it's about Miles Morales, and it'll make you want to be like, hey, I'm going to go pick up a Spider-Man comic book, but not Peter Parker. I'm going to go over here with Miles. Number 2, Mustache Impossible Fallout. I had to. Yes, Mission Impossible Fallout. I mean, you can't get any better than this when it comes to summer blockbusters, right? Just action, 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 and just a good story, good spy story. And like I said, that beefy mustache from Henry Cavill. I've probably seen this movie, probably maybe the most out of this whole list. I know I've watched it. Well, I've probably watched it 3 or 4 times. Something like that. I don't know. But it's just, I mean, they could really end the whole franchise with this one. I don't think they will. I think they probably will go to 7. But if they ended it with this one, it'd be fine. I mean, it's just so crazy how these movies keep getting better. You know, when it came to like 4, he was like, whoa, that was better than 3. Oh, wait, 5 is better than, Rogue Nation is better than Ghost Protocol. And then now Fallout is better than... It's crazy. It's not supposed to be like that, but for some reason, Chris McQuarrie and all these other directors, they're just handling in it. And I'm wondering if McQuarrie is going to do the next one, if they do it, or are they just going to have somebody different, which I kind of would like because he's done 2, so let's give it to somebody else. But at the same time, I'm going, they're so good. Finally, number 1. What's it going to be, guys? It's going to be that little John Krasinski horror flick called A Quiet Place. Fallout was up there, even Spideyverse. Like I said, there's some things that fluctuated, but there's just something about A Quiet Place that, I don't know. I've watched it. I've watched this one 3 times. I should watch it more, but it's just to have a movie to pull this off. Jesus. Especially when you're in a movie theater, a crowded movie theater like I was opening night, and this movie's like dead quiet for 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes, you're hearing everybody, it's horrible. Horrible. You bunch of animals. No, but to pull it off, I mean, it's a little bit of Signs, a little bit of Tremors. I mean, my God. And to have Krasinski star and direct, right, and then have Emily Blunt, his wife, be in there, and then to cast an actual deaf girl to play the deaf girl, and be in a pivotal part of the story, and the creatures themselves were frightening, and just everything about this movie is just great. It's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, it took the box office by storm by being like a kind of small movie, and I know they're making a sequel. I hope it doesn't take away from this one, because sometimes sequels, yeah, I mean, he's not going to direct it, but I think he's going to help write it. And, of course, Blunt will probably be in it. They'll all probably return. But, yeah, this movie is just, I don't know. It just blew me away. I couldn't, when it came out, I couldn't stop raving about it to people. And I think that's why I chose it for number 1. Just because I found it to be, this and Annihilation are probably the most original ones. Well, Hereditary is pretty original, too. And they're all pretty much in that horror genre. It's crazy. And it was just a good year for all that. It's a good year for scary movies. But, yeah, I don't know. There's just something about this one that stood out for me. And I think just because I like Krasinski so much and I want to see more from him. And just, like I said, just to pull that off. Just to pull this off. And just to show that family dynamic, too. I thought it's just a pitch perfect movie. So there you have it, guys. That is my best list. I will be look for my worst list. It'll be up tomorrow, and then my anticipated list. So look forward to that as well. So there you have it, guys. Let me know some of your favorite movies. And like I said, these are just my opinion. Don't get on me for certain things. All right, hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel. Visit filmjunkie.com for all my stuff, and follow me on the social media stuff all right there. And that'll be it, guys. All right, love you. Bye.